Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series playoffs and round number 2. Same place, different race course. Road course racing last Wednesday night here in Indianapolis. Now tonight, the drivers of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group are on the big track, the 2.5-mile world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we are ready to go. Good evening. I am Wesley Outland. Joined alongside is my buddy Samuel Dyer. There he is. Samuel, there he is. Sam, what's up, buddy? Having fun? You ready to go tonight? Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm excited for this. If anything, I was a little nervous after Friday night watching the ARCA series, but then Monday night came around. And yes, there were a lot of cautions that happened on Monday night, but man, was that a great ending or what, seeing Chris White come around and win, which has now made me excited for the truck series because those two other series were on fixed setups. We are now on open setups, meaning every driver had the opportunity to build this setup the way that they wanted to. So that means everyone should be on, a feeling of the car where it's balanced and they can attack this course as fast as they want.
And by the way, that was my pick to win on Friday night or Monday night. He got it done for sure. So, hey, we welcome you to coverage. The Brickyard 200 ready to go. The Northwest iRacing Truck Series, Indianapolis. So, Samuel, with all of these different modifications that we were talking about, do you think we're going to see a different race here tonight for the trucks than what we saw Monday for the Cup race at Indy, which actually it was very surprising, very interesting. 3 or 4 caution flags to start things off. Then we had that long green flag run. Then we went to the finish, and it was one awesome race that came down to the wire.
Yeah, we actually got to a point of that race where it stretched so long, we almost had to worry about the sunlight at one moment. I think we're expecting to see a pretty similar race here tonight. I think you're expecting to see drivers super close to one another, and I'm really excited to see how these drivers are going to react. I'm hoping it's like Monday, but honestly, it could race like Friday night was, where it's green all the way through.
All right, Samuel, who you riding with? Who's your pick?
Well, I'm going to change things up. A driver I haven't really thought about picking until earlier this day. I am actually going to be going with the 24. Jeff Stabnow is going to be my pick. And the reason is, if you look at the past, he's found ways to win here. And I think it's a very gutsy call. I'm risking it. I didn't win Monday. I'm going to risk it with a big pick. I'm going with Jeff Stabnow to win this thing.
Copycat. My pick down below. Guess who it is? It's Jeff Stabnow. Oh, my goodness. So, hey, the producer, as always, Charles, goes with Jeff Stabnow. We're all going to ride or die with him tonight. So 3 picks for Jeff Stabnow. But you know what, though, Samuel? Back to what you were saying, I would say I agree with you and I concur. Obviously, like Exo to captain on Crimson Tide here for this event. You have basically Jeff Stabnow. He's had success in Indianapolis before. He's won at Indianapolis before. He does really, really well in the trucks here at Indianapolis. And I just think, man, the guy is due. The man is due. And, of course, he had a pretty decent race here when we raced here back earlier in the year. So I think it's kind of funny that all of our picks are exactly the same. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at your Race on Texas 411 for tonight's race information. We'll also look at the sawblade.com weather conditions. Team 126 starting lineup forthcoming as well. And we dropped a green flag on the trucks at Indianapolis. He's Samuel Dyer. I'm Wesley Outland, and you're tuned into coverage on LSRTV. Thanks to Rocket Media. And, of course, the Northwest iRacing Truck Series on CRN, LSRTV. We're back in a moment.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Was that not the fastest commercial you ever seen in your life or what? Don't you wish network TV that quick? Welcome back to coverage. Northwest iRacing Truck Series. We're at Indianapolis. Samuel Dyer alongside with Wesley Outlet and Samuel. Indianapolis, fun time. It's going to be a good race. Getting ready for what should be a nice virtual afternoon at the Brickyard. Let's take a look at the race on Texas 411. Same distance as last week. It is 30-minute practice. 2-lap qualifying, which is already concluded. Driver's meeting is ongoing. And now we are going through a driver's meeting very quickly, which will lead up to 200 miles, 80 laps. So if you ever have watched the Brickyard 400 or the Indianapolis 500, of course, that is 100, 200 laps, 500 miles. The Brickyard 400 is 400 miles, 160 laps. You take away half the distance of that race. And Samuel, you have the Brickyard 200 here tonight for the virtual iRacing trucks at Indy.
Yeah, I mean, tonight, a little bittersweet. This is the last race that we're going to have at Indy. A 2-week span. We were here. Last week was road course racing. Now we're going to be finishing off the ovals. But, man, has it been great racing. And it makes sense why Indy is so beloved and one of the most historic tracks out here. It has put on great racing each and every week so far. And, man, I'm just jazzed for this one. I'm so excited. 80 laps of who knows what's going to happen.
Who knows? Who knows what? Who are you going to be? What's going to happen here at Indianapolis? Hey, the point standings, let's take a look at them as they're 2.5 minutes from gridding. Look at the points. Look at Kevin Smith out in front, leading the way. Could he be thinking championship? And you know, Samuel, winning here at the road course at Indy last Wednesday night, locks himself in for the race in the round of 8 coming up.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the points, again, it's only the top 8 that get to move on to the next round. So there's a lot of pressure on these drivers to have good runs. And I think the biggest surprise has to be Dan West Jr. All the way down in 9th place. He's outside of the top 8. So he's got to find himself a good day here today. As well as we know, Caden Anderson, he was suspended last week. So he's now coming in. Huge points deficit, practically a must-win scenario for that team. But if anyone could do it, it's Caden Anderson. We saw him be extremely fast Monday night. Wouldn't be surprised he brings the same speed here tonight for all these drivers.
Getting these guys ready to go in position here as we look at those point standings. Oh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been informed, breaking news, that tonight's race for the trucks is actually going to be over 200 and... well, let's see here. What is that? 225 miles, if you will, because, Samuel, they are running 90 laps instead of 80 laps.
Hey, that extra 10 laps could make or break someone's race. I
That's
mean, if we had that extra 10
extra.
laps, yeah, if we had that extra 10 laps on Monday night, Chris White probably wouldn't have won that race because of how much of a deficit he was on tires, but hey, here tonight, an extra 10 laps, more racing. We love to see it.
90 laps. Let's take a look at the sawblade.com weather conditions. As right now, it is nice, comfortable, partly cloudy. Sun is out right now. Nice breeze at 6 miles an hour to the east. Then you have 74 mile per hour or 74 degrees. The track temp is 92. So definitely the track temp a lot more warmer than the virtual temperature, but I think that's going to climb. That's going to go up as the afternoon goes on. Obviously, we got to keep an eye on the shadows, the cloud cover. That will really change the conditions of these trucks as well, Samuel, as we're about less than 5 seconds to gridding.
Yeah, and with the weather and seeing how the cloud cover is, that track temp going to be rising throughout this race, so drivers got to stay aware. It could change throughout the day for them. But Wesley, drivers are getting girded up. It's time for us to get ready to see where they lie.
Man, it's go time, isn't it? Let's get this thing started for the drivers here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And let's give you your Team 126 Racing starting lineup. The truck's ready to go. Dan West Jr., of course, defending Truck Series champion. He's on the pole to the outside. The man that's currently leading the point standings from Hermiston, Washington. Winner at the road course in Indy last week, Kevin Smith. Row 2 on the grid, we'll find Devin West. Of course, he swept Bristol, did a really good job to the outside. Look who's back. Cole Raz, Razzle Dazzle in the number 10 machine. Row number 3 on the grid, Dennis Moore in 44 to the outside, Tyler King. We'll see what the Racetrack King can do in 21. Row 4 on the grid, we'll find Caden Anderson. Remember, suspended last week, the driver out of Yakima, Washington, has to at least advance in the top 8 of the points and needs a win to go to race in the round of 8. We'll see what he can do tonight to the outside. All of our picks. Jeff Stabnow, Billings, Montana, number 24. Row number 5, Sean Bridesman, defending Cup Series champion in the 46 machine. He also won ARCA here on last Friday night. To the outside, Stephen O'Hare, your top 10 here as the field continues to grid.
In row number 6, we find Paul Newton, the man who's been doing so well at road courses. We'll see if he can carry it over to oval side with Toby Ritters in the 23 to the outside for row number 6. Row 7, finding Ryan Bloom, a great rookie season. We'll see if he can carry it forward here tonight with that of Robert Gamble of the 54 to his outside. Dropping back to row number 8, that's where we find John Odenbacher in the 89, as well as that of Bryce Beatty in the number 70. We'll see how row number 8 does, but row number 9, we find that of Russ Lundberg as well as James Thurston. And Thurston, we saw him have a great surge late Monday night. We'll see if he can do the same thing here. Carl Berg as well as Judd Wakefield finishing out row number 10.
As your top 20, moving on to the next row, Ray Fournier won a race at Daytona in the duels back earlier in the year, the 26 machine to the outside. Bug Eyes, there he is, 71. Aaron Cooper, we'll keep an eye on him. Row number 12, Troy Daggett in 51. Scott Hutchinson in the number 91 machine in row number 12. Row number 13, starting shotgun in the field, Big Daddy is, of course, Carl Burke, another guy that's really earned his stripes in the fourth performance. Number 11 is, of course, the legend Frank Harris. And that is the starting lineup. 25 trucks, 225 miles, 90 laps coming up around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're on the back straightaway, headed to the west end of the speedway. All right, Sammy D, your thoughts before we drop the green rag. Race 2 of the playoffs at Indy next.
Oh, I mean, the pressure's on Cole Raz, who we've seen when he shows up. He's one of the favorites to watch out for. But Caden Anderson, we've seen him win the most here in the trucks so far this season. That 37 is going to be fast. Just got news. James Thurston not going to be racing here tonight. So the two not here. Looking like we got 23 drivers on the grid. We'll see who wants to start out on pit road, as it looks like Carl Burke might be on pit road.
James Thurston, Carl Burke also with problems. Big Daddy unable to get started. With that being said, we're ready for the pace car to drop onto the pit lane. Here come the virtual warlords in their kaleidoscope of colors. Ready. Flagman, look at them down, look at them over. Green flag in the air, we're underway. Ladies and gentlemen, we're iRacing. Race 2 of the playoffs. Father, son, inside on Smith, the points leader as they go to turn 1 in the Brickyard.
It's going to be that of Dan West Jr. holding strong, but watch out, Beaver State Racing making a little bit of contact there back in row number 3, but it's both West 1-2 currently, but here comes Smith on the outside with that surge on the backstretch.
Underway, watching these drivers working their way to the back straightaway. Getting things started. And the opening lap, west end of the speedway into that third turn. Dan West Jr. up on the outside. Devin West is there. And might I add also, Samuel, they're back in their traditional colors as they work off turn number 4. Big battle for third. Smith, Raz, Moore under attack. It's father and son leading lap 1 at Indy. Back to turn number 1.
Cole Raz really pinching on the outside on Dennis Moore, putting the pressure on the 44, but able to move up. Everyone's now single filed out, but yeah, that was something I was noticing with that of Dan West Jr. as well as Devin West. Back to those usual colors, but now this is one of the most interesting things. You know how last week touched on that of Sean Bridesman, the fact that he was getting better each and every race of that week. Well, same thing can be said for the Beaver State Racing crew. Dennis Moore, Tyler King, both of them might not have had the best run earlier on Friday, but Monday got a little bit faster, and here they are again up front in the top 10.
Working their way to the east end of the west end of the speedway, down into the short chute off of turn number 4. It's West and Smith and Raz and Moore right there, top 5. You got drivers in red, top aerial coverage presented by All-American Pools. Look at this, Kevin Smith, Raz under attack for 3rd, down off of the short chute in 2.
Raz is just fighting for every position possible. The 10 on the outside, gonna get the surge for himself, but no one's following the 10, trying to give him a boost. It's Dennis Moore gonna be giving the help to the 00, but just not enough help. Raz able to conquer for 3rd place.
Working their way back around the east end of the speedway and the short chute off the back straightaway. It's West and West. There's Kevin Smith. There's Moore. Also Tyler King in that battle. Caden Anderson's there. That's your top 7 now. 3rd through 7th right there. 1st and 2nd not in sight. They're pulling away almost 1.5 seconds back to Cole Raz as they are now off into turn number 1 and 2. There is now 3rd. There's Raz, and they're off into turn number 2 on the back straightaway.
This is the thing with having an open setup where drivers can modify how they want the truck to work. We are seeing it now. West Racing, Dan West Jr., Devin West, they found the setup that worked for them to utilize the draft for its fullest potential, and they're pulling away, working together, while everyone else, they're fighting against one another.
Yeah, they certainly are. We'll keep an eye on them there as we watch them working their way back around the racetrack again. Off of the short chute, back to the west end of the speedway to the 3rd turn off of 3. Now exiting here off of turn 4, back down the front stretch. On board, Hermiston, Washington, 00. Kevin Smith, he's currently in the 6th position. He's got the green bar, and why is that, Samuel? He won at the road course last Wednesday night. He can ride and drive. He can do whatever he wants to. He knows he's in the round of 8 as he's got Caden Anderson to the inside. He needs to win or at least stay in that top 8 in points by the end of 2 weeks in Iowa and Atlanta as Anderson almost door slams Kevin Smith as they came off the corner.
You can see the damage. There was contact made between the 37 and the 00. There's a little bit of a scrape there on the left side of the 00. You can see the contact that was made, and now they got to figure out how to recoup because we've seen drivers that get damaged here at Indy with how prevalent the draft is. Any type of aero damage, any type of scrapes that you get, it can affect you on the long term. So both the 37 and the 00 got to be careful as Sean Bridesman to the inside, getting some help from O'Hare, trying to make the move on the inside. That's just that a stab now, just stuck on the outside, just following suit. Hopes their lane moves forward.
And just a moment ago, again, door slammed. Anderson was on Kevin Smith, and now Kevin Smith right there. There's our pick, number 24, Jeff Stabnow. In the 24 4K Ford, the man out of Billings, Montana, closes in under the Washington native of Kevin Smith. And now Tucson, Arizona's Sean Bridesman also in that battle. 5 trucks in the top 10 as they go back into the west end of the speedway to 4.
You saw that side drafting, that of Stab now, trying to get right on the quarter panel of Kevin Smith, getting him a little bit loose on the entry of the corner and then able to attack through the center of corner for himself, making that pass. And now you're going to be seeing that of Bridesman. Smith was already falling back because of overusing his tires in those first 3 laps. Now he's falling back because of that damage. Smith is in trouble, but luckily, like you noted on Wesley, he won already last week. He's locked into the next round, so it's okay that he's falling back.
Yeah, whatever kind of bad luck he goes through, he knows he is already on to the next round. The battle cam, look to the bottom on the left side. There you see this heated battle with Sean Bridesman there, Stephen O'Hare there, and on board camera is with Sean Bridesman, who's amongst this chaos now as they work to turn number 3 and 4 on lap number 6 of 90. Yes, 90 laps tonight for the trucks. 225 miles here at the Brickyard, and we're just getting started.
All the drivers in line, taking it easy. They were getting aggressive there, but now's the time to be patient. You now have to wait for the driver in front of you to make a mistake. If you get a good run out of turns number 2 or out of turn number 4, then you can think about making it past to the inside. But when you're almost 10 laps into a run, everyone's about to find where they're going to be lying for the rest of this run. You just got to be patient. Hope that the pack of trucks that you're with are able to stick with the group in front of them. But, you know, the group of drivers, we should say, that were moving away, both that of Dan West and Devin West, able to pull away as Kevin Smith, who qualified well, falling back outside the top 10.
And we're certainly keeping an eye on that as they work their way back around the racetrack again. As currently we watch Bridesman, Stapp now, Caden Anderson, all these trucks, all these drivers, all in this chaos that's ongoing. Another lap on the board. Inside Stapp now there, going after Anderson. They're going to go side by side up the racetrack. Goes Anderson, Stapp now down to the bottom. This is for 6th. This is side by side now, going down the back straightaway.
This is huge for Jeff Stapp now. Make this pass.
Samuel Bridesman about bounced off the wall coming out of turn number 2. Keeps on going. We will stay under the green flag.
Yeah, luckily he's still running. Didn't completely knock down the wall, but right now still able to stay in line. And, you know, that's a big thing. Early on, you don't want to get into this early trouble. They do have a fast repair to work with, but you don't want to be knocking down the wall this early. We've seen drivers, you know, have to use their fast repair early on in races previously, and they are not in the best setup. But here's now a group that's trying to move forward. It's Tyler King as well as Dennis Moore. This is 3rd and 4th, trying to catch up to that of Dan West Jr. and Devin West. We're starting to see tandem drafting, kind of a good way to start moving yourself forward or just get away from the rest of the pack.
Yes, sir, we certainly are. We're working now. Lap number 10. As here comes the leaders back around. There's Stapp now. There's Anderson. Anderson after Raz. Bridesman, O'Hare. 5 trucks in that mix if you also count Paul Newton right there. Kevin Smith, after contact with Anderson, as we're running on board with Sean Bridesman, has fell all the way back to 11th outside the top 10. Razzle dazzle, inside, outside, under the front grille of Bridesman's truck. Anderson, driver left, inside. He will try to go for 2 for 1. Put Anderson trying to go to 6th. Razzle battle back on the outside out of 2. And here comes O'Hare now. Samuel in the mix as well. They're 2 by 2.
It's so claustrophobic when you're driving in, especially where Stapp now is, where you see that there's drivers basically side by side in front of you. You got to hope the lane that you're in starts moving, but they are 3 wide going into turn 3.
3 wide, holding it together. We didn't see this kind of chaos earlier in the race on Monday night. Boy, they're to the whip quickly. Anderson, Raz, here comes Bridesman. And look at Newton all over. Trying now on the outside is Kevin Smith. Ryan Bloom on the outside, also looking in 12th. By the way, we'll show you the legend real quickly. There's a lot of reasons why the colors are they are on the score. Green punches your ticket to the round of 8. They're in green. 1 driver. That's Kevin Smith. In blue, Westmore, King, Stapp now, O'Hare, Bridesman, and Blum. Those Bloom drivers are already in blue. They're right now currently in the top 8, but a win will advance them automatically to the round of 8. Those drivers are in the top 12 in points. Outside the top 8 is your drivers of course, Dan West Jr., Caden Anderson, Robert Gamble. These drivers, Samuel, need a win. They're in the playoffs, but they need a win to advance to the championship. Stephen Paulison,
yes,
also one of those drivers in the playoffs, not here tonight.
Yeah, did not show up Monday night either. So Stephen Paulson in the hole for both the Cup playoffs as well for that of the Trucks playoffs. It's rough missing a whole race. Caden Anderson, he's in that hole. He's trying his best in this 37 to try to dig himself out. And right now for Anderson, what's frustrating is the only driver he's ahead is that of Ryan Bloom, but Bloom's 5th in points, having himself about 6 points to the good on top of the 33 points that Anderson finds himself being back. So it is frustrating to be where Anderson's at, but we saw on Monday, the 37 had a lot of pace in the short run if we got into that type of a racing format, but everyone's been racing pretty clean. Yes, there's been a couple bumps here or there. The wall's been getting close. But this is looking eerily similar to the racing that we saw Friday night for the ARCA Series.
Dan West Jr. in that red. Remember, he's outside the top 8. He is one of the drivers in the round of 12, outside the top 8. But red can go to green, red to blue to green, and he advances in to the championship. There's Kevin Smith. Got door slammed by Caden Anderson about 10 laps ago and still, 5 laps ago. He still stays in the top 20s in 11th position. And right now, honestly, Samuel, all he's got to do is just ride and drive. He won the road course here last week, the 00 of Hermiston, Washington's Kevin Smith. Honestly, you could say this race for him could be like a wild card like Talladega. No matter what happens to the 00, he knows that Ford F-150 is going to the next round of the iRacing Truck Series Northwest playoffs when we get past tonight, Iowa, and Atlanta.
Yeah, once we get past those racetracks, we find ourselves starting the round of 8, where we're going to be finding ourselves at, Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway. And drivers are going to be putting a lot of pressure into that, especially for that of Smith, who knows he's locked in. He can focus on that. Periodically throughout these next couple of weeks before that race comes along, he can put practice in, so he's the most prepared that he can be. But side by side, watching Paul Newton, this is for 8th place. Caden Anderson stuck on the outside, and you thought maybe you were going to be seeing Cole Raz, Caden Anderson being aggressive early on, which they were trying to be, but kind of stalling out and now falling backwards. We're starting to see those drivers much faster in the long run, starting to find their pace and moving forward. Paul Newton, one of those drivers, one of the top of the non-playoff drivers so far, running in 8th place, doing a great job for the 81 team.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on them right now, seeing what kind of excitement they're putting on, their strengths, their weaknesses here in the early going. There's still a lot of racing, might I add, left to go here in this event in the Brickyard. 225 miles now, 225 miles, now 90 laps. It was announced at the end of the drivers' meeting that they were not going to go 80 laps. They're going 90 laps, and right now you see what they're doing. 16 of 90 the distance. And West, Moore, King, Stabnow, the top 5. All right, we're all riding with Jeff Stabnow as we see now the 44, Dennis Moore, trying to run down Devin West for 2nd spot. He's got a bridesmaid with him with Tyler King on the back straightaway. Samuel Dyer off too.
Yeah, it's been a slow, methodical push forward for Dennis Moore and Tyler King. They saw that they could catch up. They just knew they had to wait, though. And Dennis Moore and Tyler King touched on it, on Monday night, that they were so good, Beaver State Racing, at working together, finding their strategies on how to position themselves for wins. They just haven't had the luck to finish well, but you can see a little bit of damage on that right side. Dennis Moore has brushed the wall at least once. We'll see if the 44 can try to bounce back from this damage, and he's been doing a great job at it. Currently on the back bumper of the 5, but Wesley, a well-known phrase, it's easier to catch drivers than to pass them.
Yeah, it's very true. It's one thing to run them down. It's another thing to get around them. And that is exactly what they are starting to realize here, battling with the likes of the West family. But Moore did just pull it off. He's on the inside. Devin West will fall back to 3rd. Dennis Moore looking for a win as well. He moves up to 2nd. And Samuel, he's done really good, man, in the last couple of months of racing.
Oh, Dennis Moore has been doing a fabulous job. I've seen Tyler King now trying to go on the inside. I mean, Moore's best run so far in the Truck Series back at Nashville. Qualified, got the pole. Then he just dominated Nashville Superspeedway, won that race. That's his one win of the season for this 44 team. But it has been a group effort from the Beaver State team on getting in the great runs, having great positioning for themselves, And, you know, a driver that's from that group that's looking for a win, that's the 21 of Tyler King, who got a little bit too close to the wall, had to back out of it. And here comes Devin West, excuse me, on the inside, making a pass, as now he's got Moore in his sights.
Lap 19 of 90, working in lap number 20. Rocking and rolling around the Brickyard, the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're live, LSRTV, CRN, Community Radio Network, double bonus coverage. We had soccer. What a great God game that was on earlier tonight. Now we've got iRacing. Tomorrow we've got football. Football Friday night as well. And, of course, LSRTV had the S&B Cup Series at the Roval. And the winner, of course, was Braxton Louise, the man that's dominated on the Talladega next week. And currently, Dan West Jr., there you see him. He's leading, but not by much, Samuel. Dennis Moore on a mission in 44. He's running him down on the west end of the speedway in the third turn.
Yeah, these past about 8 laps, it has been Dennis Moore being anywhere from 2 to 4/10 faster than Dan West Jr. Just been creeping and closing each and every lap. And Dennis Moore, he's now just only 3 truck lengths away from making the pass for the lead.
Another view from top side, from the flag stand at turn 1. There you see him as they cross the straight finish line. And Dan West Jr. He's gone. Now these top 2 pulling away, almost 1.3 seconds back to son Devin West, who was at one time first and second. There you see the interval, so first and second, West and Moore. Son West and Tyler King right there. And then Samuel by himself. 3 seconds back to the leader is Jeff Stabnow in the top 5. As there you see the top 4 right there trying to run down that man. Dan West Jr. out in front.
Yeah, looking at the best, that last lap that was put down from Dan West Jr. compared to Jeff Stabnow, who's in 5th, only about a 10th or 2 off of our leader, but like you said, he's about 3 seconds back. Jeff Stabnow really looking for a shot here to get a win. Of all the drivers that have gotten wins so far, I mean, you would think that Jeff Stabnow would be on that list, but he has not won at all this season, but he's been one of the most consistent drivers, coming in with 10 top 5s, 13 top 10s, but still no win yet this season. Jeff Stabnow, you know it's looming, it's almost right there, and he's starting to get a little bit of a nip at where the draft is. You see Toby Ritter's now at pit road.
Early to pit stop, you think, Samuel? What are you thinking?
Based on what I'm seeing from that rear and all of what we just saw right there, had to use a fast repair was the 23. He got himself into trouble and felt like pit road was the place he needed to go. We were about 5 laps away from pit stops happening. I think Toby Ritter's recognized, hey, there's still going to be another pit stop after this. Let's come in, get the repairs, and maybe with this undercut, I can gain some time back that I lost from the incident that he was involved in.
Dan West Jr. right there. Dennis Moore along to the inside. Battle for the lead now as we saw some pit stops from Ritter's. Dennis Moore looking for the lead as they go to the third turn on the inside. Dan West gives up the top spot. 44 to the lead. Second lead change of the race here at the Brickyard.
It's just been so clean seeing Dennis Moore just working his way patiently each and every time we get to the end of these laps. And we're getting close to pit stops for these drivers, but Dennis Moore to the lead. And now the question is, will we see Tyler King be able to cut his way forward as Dan West Jr. still keeping it close?
Dennis Moore down to the inside. Dan West Jr. there again. Devin West sits there in third. There you see him. By the way, now you have 3 more trucks ganging up on that second pack, if you will. King, Stabnow, O'Hare, all now being ran down. Here comes the west end of the speedway, the short chute. Boy, I'll tell you, Samuel, just in that last lap, a lot of cloud cover. A lot of cloud cover, man. It's really gotten cloudy as they work their way down the front straightaway. Look at them going inside and outside. Cloud cover off into the west end of the speedway, east end of the speedway. Sun is out. We're going to go side by side. 25 laps in. You don't miss a thing. We're underway at the Brickyard. Back with more on your home for sim racing. LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. Stand by.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, SMB Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the Community Radio Network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
Lap number 26 of 90. Lap 26 of 90, as I reiterated on. Welcome back to coverage from the Brickyard. The Brickyard 225. Green flag pit stops happening. Cole Raz in. Caden Anderson in front of you, Sammy D.
Yeah, both drivers having to come in. They feel like they have a short run setup. That means they are quick in those first 10 to 15 laps, but then it just feels like the truck fades away. Early pit stop for both Cole Raz and Caden Anderson right at the start of the limit, as more drivers are going to be thinking about pit road. They're going to be trickling in until lap 30. That's going to be when the absolute limit for all these drivers, as here comes Sean Bridesman in.
Green flag pit stops ongoing. Here comes the Truck Series, Cup Series champion of last year into his pit stall, 46 in. Winner of ARCA at Indy on Friday, remember. As work is ongoing, more work going on. Drop the jack down, send him on his way.
Now seeing Aaron Cooper into pit row, 71 machine. Gonna get some service done. But that front end looking a little bit up more than you would like, and going to be using a fast repair. That is about the third fast repair we've seen from this field being used under this first pit stop. So this field getting a little out of control, and you know, for a lot of these drivers, they have set up these trucks so they are loose. You get as much speed out of them as possible, and there were some drivers that were putting it a little bit too close to the edge at times, getting ready for this race. And we've already seen a couple of drivers get out of hand as hard racing in the middle of the pack, as you're seeing Tyler King back to 7th now. This 21, yeah, thought he was going to be a lot faster. He was up to 4th and 3rd at one moment, but has fallen all the way back to 7th.
And pit stops ongoing. Here comes the man that led most of the race earlier. Now Dan West Jr. is on to the pit lane.
Seeing Dan West Jr. into pit road. Let's see how clean he can get in. We've seen a couple of drivers misstep. He angles it perfectly to exit out with any trouble, and going to take 4 tires and fuel. Everyone that comes in, they are expected to take 4 tires and fuel, but they have not made it to lap 30, Wesley, and that's going to be where it's key. Drivers might have to go to fuel saving mode on their after this pit stop they're taking right now, or on the next one, because again, we're going to lap 90. Some of these drivers should have been able to try to make it to at least lap 30, as here comes that of Dennis Moore, Devin West, and the whole entire top 6 all coming in at once.
Down the pit lane, everybody that was in the top 10 right there with one another coming in. Stefano Herron, Stabnow in, Tyler King, Paul Newton. And I guess I would say this, Samuel, that's not ironic. They're pretty much trying to stay within the crosshairs of one another, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. With Dan West Jr. coming in, it kind of showed to everyone else that was up front, okay, we got to come in next time. We don't want to let the 55 get too much of an advantage of being out there an extra lap or two over us. But interesting thing to see, John Odenbacher out front, staying out an extra lap than everyone else. I love this call from the 89 because now he knows he's going to be good to stretch it this far. Might have to do a similar strategy for his next pit stop around lap 60 to 61. But then from that point on, he knows he's good to make it to the end. Love this call from a driver that's up 14 positions up front.
John Odenbacher having a pretty quiet race. Had some problems on Monday. He's coming into pit. And we're on lap number 30. Go ahead, Samuel.
Yeah, this is going to be at the start of lap 31. So Odenbacher should be good. If he continues this type of pit stop into his next pit stop around 61 to 62, should be good to make it on fuel without any worry. Everyone else got to be a little bit concerned with this earlier pit stop, as Russ Lundberg is going to be the other driver that needs to make a pit stop, and this is now finishing up green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I was about to say Odenbacher should be the final man to come in, and he'll cycle back around to that guy. Look who's back out in front again. Guess who's back? Back again. Well, 55, Dan West Jr. back out in the top spot. Dennis Moore falling back in second. Samuel, can we say anything about 30 laps seeing what we've saw Dan West Jr. do, man? He's been strong.
Yeah, he's been really strong. I think what helped him in that first stint, though, was having his son, Devin West, on his back bumper, giving him that boost of the draft. Now with the 5 not there, and it's the 44 now lingering behind, it's not going to be a helpful draft. It's going to be the 44 trying to pressure, trying to make every single move forward. And we've already seen in the final 15 laps of a run, it's Dennis Moore that is the quickest here. So got to watch out for the 44. When we get about to lap 40 to 45, expect to see Dennis Moore make a surge to go after the 55 of Dan West Jr. But, hey, DWJ doing a great job up front, trying to just gap himself at this point over a second and trying to continue that pace.
Happy first day of fall to everybody, as officially summer ended on yesterday. It is fall 2021, first day. Nice. Well, it was a rainy, stormy day here for the most part, Samuel, in the eastern part of the United States. I don't know what it was like in west coast of Florida. Is it still 100 degrees where you're at? Look at, we're going to go 3 wide. Toby Ritters. Look out, Clifford.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's going to be Gamble able to try to make the pass on Smith as well as Toby Ritters. It's been nice. I think tomorrow it's supposed to be close to 100, but, you know, we're waiting for that actual fall weather to kick in.
Is it ever really fall in California?
Oh, we get all seasons. We get winter and all of it. Sometimes it's less than, it's below 31 degrees over here.
Are you
but that's
serious?
When we're in the head of winter. Yeah, sometimes it gets below 30, but, you know, that's just a very few winter days. But,
How
man,
far are you from Los Angeles or San Francisco?
I'm like an hour and a half away from San Francisco, so we're like central to northern, in that Bay Area, wine country area.
And it gets cold? And it gets that cold down there?
Oh yeah, sometimes it gets snow. And then it goes up to like 110 some days, so we get a mixture of everything. Our weather is very bipolar over in California.
And it sounds like it. Big Bird, Greg's not with us tonight. It's Samuel and I. Greg not able to be here. Enjoyed working with him on Monday. And watching O'Hare now closing in. Stab now right behind him. So is also Tyler King. So these three drivers fighting for position going on as the west end of the speedway in turn number 3. And Samuel, they're going to stay single file. They're trying to run down Sean Bridesman.
That is the ultimate goal. And looking at the lap times from last lap, we're going to be seeing this go around when they cross the line. But they were gaining about 2 to 3 tenths on Sean Bridesman when they stay in line working together. But was that of Stephen O'Hare and Tyler King, both on similar setups of Dennis Moore? We're expecting both of those drivers to really kick it up into gear around lap 42. That's when it seems like their long run setup starts to really creep in and everyone else's short run setup starts to linger off, lose some pace. But right now, all running well. That last time by, running about half a second faster than Sean Bridesman was this 3-car group. And you see the 46 up there, just waiting to be picked on, as that of Stephen O'Hare running about a groove higher than I would think you would want someone to be, but still, they're closing up to the 46 truck very quickly.
Down the front straightaway. Back to turn 1. Bridesman now the 4th. Bridesman 4th, O'Hare 5th, Stab now 6th, Tyler King is in 7th, and no cautions, by the way. Samuel, that's another thing, buddy. No cautions.
Yeah,
we had 3 yellow flags last Monday night. That ain't happened yet.
Yeah, that was something that I was throwing out around lap 13. That it seemed like the way everyone was getting spaced out. Yes, there were a couple of bumps here or there, but it seemed like we were looking to have a similar race like the ARCA race where there weren't any cautions really to be seen. Because of how spread out the field is, it's got to be someone just having a complete mistake on themselves. Maybe, making a pass on a lap car, misjudging. Those are the type of errors that we're going to have to see if we're going to be seeing a caution at all. But right now, everyone looking pretty smooth as Sean Bridesman's been caught up 4th back to that of 7th now in line, and we'll see if O'Hare wants to work with it. It doesn't look like he wants to. Going to be going for the pass for that of 4th position is the 41 of Stephen O'Hare.
Look at this battle. These 3 trucks trying to make it 4.
Still watching this battle. That's for 4th place, all in line. Stephen O'Hare creeping and crawling as he is now finding himself up to some lap traffic to try to get by. And lap traffic, like I noted on earlier, Wesley, something that could be a factor that could bring out a yellow. As Jeff Stab now finding a surge of speed, closing in on the 41 as they're trying to figure out how to get by the 26. And they will do so on the inside as Ray going to just stay high and get out of the way as quick as possible.
That's right. Remember the ARCA race on Friday, that went caution-free, Samuel, if you remember. 90 laps, caution-free. Sean Bridesman won that one.
Yeah, Sean Bridesman won that one. He was the fastest overall just based on pure speed, but also had a very smart pit strategy where he pitted around lap 25. Instead of stretching it out as far as you could go in the ARCA cars, which was around 35 laps, decided to pit 10 laps sooner, and it really worked out for the strategy where he still could pit just 2 times like the rest of the field. This go around, it looks like it's going to be based on raw speed at the end of this cycle on where drivers going to be placed. But right now, it is still seeing this 3-car kind of a pack, that of Tyler King, as well as Jeff Stabnow and Stephen O'Hare. All 3 of them working so well, and now getting by that of Sean Bridesman, who just falls back, and see that of Briar Beatty going to be coming into pit road. But the next person this group is going to be trying to catch up to, going to be the 5 of Devin West, and we'll see how quick they can catch up to him. But that gap quite large, and it's going to be taking a lot of work if they can catch up to West.
Back off into the corner. O'Hare now under attack. Here comes Stabnow, trying to go after 4th. As right now he is sitting single file down the back straightaway to the west end of the speedway. 3rd turn, Stabnow on the bottom, looking to try to run him down. O'Hare is there, nothing yet. Down to turn 4, Sammy D, close it in on halfway.
Yeah, we're closing into halfway, and we're also now around the point where Beaver State Racing found that extra boost to speed in their runs, and you're starting to see it with Dennis Moore catching up to West. It was over a second gap, now down to that of 0.6, and now starting to see closing in O'Hare and King with that of Jeff Stabnow stuck in the middle. I mean, Stabnow really kind of just being towed along at this point as these drivers finding a little bit more speed each and every lap as they're looking for their window to be around, for those that made the pit stop, close to around lap 58 is where most of these drivers are looking for, but King giving a bump to the 24.
Closing in on halfway. Dan West Jr. out in front. Dennis Moore in 2nd. Devin West 3rd. O'Hare, Stabnow. There's your top 5. King, Bridesman, Newton, along with Anderson and Gamble. Your top 10 as it stands.
Oh boy. O'Hare getting a little bit frisky as we're riding on board with the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. Stabnow, because of that slip up from O'Hare, who gets into the wall, looks like Stabnow going to be able to go all the way down to the apron, going for the pass for 4th place. But Tyler King, he's still there on the outside as O'Hare drops back.
And right now, West still staying out in front. Dennis Moore in that number 2 position. As the laps continue to tick on here. Devin West, Tyler King, Jeff Stabnow, top 5. 44 of 90. Jeff Stabnow trying to reel in Tyler King. There you see your leaders going at it again, just like it was right before halfway. And that's Dan West Jr. and Dennis Moore. And the game, Samuel, of cat and mouse continues on between these 2 drivers again as they work to the cross flags here in 2 more laps.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking like Dennis Moore, he was about a second back, finally found that surge about 5 laps ago, and he's just been catching up lap after lap, and now going for the lead into turn number 1.
1 more lap to halfway. There goes Rich. There's Moore trying to go after the lead before halfway. No halfway money up for grabs, but obviously the better you get up in position, the farther you pull away. And that's exactly what Dennis Moore is doing in 44. Dennis Moore finally getting around Dan West Jr. And he has took the top spot as the field will get ready to work their way to the west end of the speedway to turn number 4. We welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. It is time for the Tom Dinchell Automotive Group halfway report, mid-race report, and Samuel Dyer is down below. I am Wesley Outland up top, thumbs high, and we welcome you as Samuel, we're just after halfway. What a phenomenal race we've seen so far. It has been the driver back and forth, if you will. Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., flip-flopping back and forth for position. And honestly, it's been those two guys being the class of the field since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, it has been clean and green all the way through, and it's been that of Dan West Jr. getting the pole position, showing that short run pace, but overall, it's been Dennis Moore just waiting and looming. After 12 laps into a run, that's when the 44 finds that pace and just comes up and takes the lead away, just like we saw there before coming to our mid-race report. I mean, Dennis Moore looks unstoppable if we stay green all the way through this race.
It has, and right now, we're looking at Dennis Moore. Dennis Moore is one of those guys that, honestly, he needs a win to advance into the championship round of 8 coming up after Iowa and Atlanta. He's got a really strong run. We've said many times, keep an eye on Dennis Moore. He could be a guy to finally win tonight. Really, really strong piece, but I would also say don't count out the West family. Dan West Jr. is strong. Father West has done good. Son West Devin right there as well. Tyler King, Jeff Stabnow. Are we still too early in this race, even though after halfway, Samuel, to start making our final picks to decide the winning outcome?
I mean, if I was able to switch my pick, I would switch it. But we got to stay with what we picked before they went green. I got to stay with, if I had to switch it, I would switch it to Dennis Moore. But I got to stay with Jeff Stabnow. You got to stick with who you picked before, and that's who I'm going to do. Jeff Stabnow currently in 5th place. Might need a caution to get back into the mix of things, but I honestly think that this 24 team needs the help. But if this thing goes green, Dennis Moore's got this thing in the bag, it looks like.
Hope you're enjoying the first day of fall, and that has been the Tom Denchel mid-race report as we go back to on-track action. As there you see Sean Bridesman coming down to the pit lane already. Bold strategy. What are you thinking, Sammy?
This is looking a little bit too soon for my liking. This is about 10 laps too soon, but this could be a call for Bridesman, thinking that he's going to have to do another stop after this. Come in, undercut, 10 laps, and then come in again and hope that he can gain enough time. But Sean Bridesman, I'm not a fan of this call, but you never know. I wasn't sure about his early pit stop on Friday, and he got the win done. We'll see if he has to stay on pit road for extra time. Nope, he's done. He's out, got his 4 tires and fuel. I don't know what's going through Sean Bridesman's mind on this idea of coming in this early. Got to be the first car 1 lap down currently. Should be able to get back on the lead lap with this fresh rubber, but this is a very early pit stop for the 46 team that's going to have to come back and really start fighting if we're able to stay green all the way.
Judd Wakefield is in, the number 50 Toyota, the Vape Hub entry. Kevin Smith is coming in. Samuel, do you think they're trying to stretch it down to a 40-lap shootout to the finish?
It could be a thing where they're switching it out, where they're going to be switching it to, you know what, instead of pitting with just, 5 laps to go and do a splash and go, let's pit early. Let's get about 20 lap stints here. So when we finish out this race, we'll pit on lap 60 or around 65. We'll know we're good on fuel, and then we'll finish this thing out. But this is going to be a very close call. It's virtually impossible for the drivers that pit now to take it to the end, but they certainly are going to be trying a bold strategy by pitting this early. Again, a lot of the drivers, the furthest that they can go, the ones that pitted, can go around lap 58 to 59 is their window. So pitting around lap 48 to 50, about 10 laps sooner. So this could have been an audible call. Hey, this is not going to be a strategy that's going to work out if we continue where we're going. Let's pit sooner, so then later on we can pit sooner and have a shot with fresher rubber.
Odenbacher and Ryan Bloom playing a nice battle of cat and mouse in the top 10. 40 laps to go next time by at Indy.
As we're seeing Odenbacher up front, and Odenbacher racing in 10th, trying to hold off that of Ryan Bloom. Bloom right now has been kind of the struggling driver of those that are in the top 8 in points currently. He's been falling around 16th, now has been climbing up, now up to 11th with some of the drivers that have done an early pit stop. Bloom's one of the drivers I'm concerned about coming into this race. Luckily, he's 5th in points, but he doesn't have that large of a gap. He only has about 3 points to that of the cut line. So if Ryan Bloom has any type of slip up, finishes worse than 10th place, we could be seeing the 25 either at the cut line or below it, as you see Toby Ritter's getting out of pit road after himself.
Got a replay coming for, I believe, Toby Ritters as he overshoots his pit stall, goes in reverse, and I think something else happened to the 23 machine. Let's watch what happened to Clifford. Tires on the right side, fuel, second can of Sunoco fuel coming in, and he just missed his pit stall, and that cost him. That's the thing, though, Samuel. You're in the playoffs. You're racing for a championship. You can't make these, well, obviously Toby Ritters isn't, but these drivers that we've seen make mistakes like that, you cannot do it because it can cost you not only positions on the racetrack, not only the win, but the championship as well.
Yeah, it honestly could at some point cost you in the future. Those are mistakes you got to clean up if you want a better shot at a future run. But looking at this field right now, I mean, everyone is keeping themselves pretty spaced out. This is actually the closest battle that's going on right now. John Odenbacher and Ryan Bloom, as we are inching closer and closer to pit stops. And Wesley, as we're inching closer to the new year, means we on LSRTV have been adding new things. We've had face cam now coming in. Well, we can now add in a new league that's going to be joining us on LSRTV at the beginning of 2022. We're going to be joining with, that is Sim 500 Esports League. It is coming. There are actually going to be big names part of this league, and it's a league that can have over 30 drivers almost each and every week. It's a giant league that we are excited to announce joining us, that of Sim 500 Esports League. Thanks for joining us on the LSRTV TV group.
It's going to be a fun time. You have drivers from DGR Crosley that are a part of the group. You've also got, of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr., AJ Allmendinger, all these different names. You know, you never know what type of drivers are going to show up for that series. In time past, the Sim 500 Racing League has had some of these big marquee NASCAR drivers, and it's really cool to see this program coming to LSR TV. It should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it in January. Obviously, it's going to be a fun thing. It's just, honestly, Samuel, just showing more of the expansion of how more and more your home for sim racing is growing, where we're heading. Obviously, we got that second annual Power Eye Nationals coming, and their series begins on February the 7th. February 7th is when the series gets cranked up. And Samuel, that's right around the same time the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, getting the duels and all that underway as well.
Everything's going to be ramping up. We're so excited for the new year and everyone that's going to be joining the LSR TV banner and everything that we get to cover as we're getting more and more new things added to the broadcast. It is so exciting to see where we are going, as seeing drivers thinking about pit road. Here comes Caden Anderson, 9th place runner, going to be coming into pit road, getting service done. It's right around the window. Thinking about 55 to 59 for all the drivers that pitted before lap 30. They have to come in before lap 60, which means they most likely will not be able to make it to the end of this race without another pit stop, including the one they have to take right now.
Dan West Jr. is coming in, second place. Dennis Moore stays out on the racetrack. He is not pitted yet.
With all the drivers that are coming in right now, they're going to have to come in again after this. And that means I'm putting my eyes out on... Yeah, they can only go about 27 to about 30 laps of fuel. So if you're pitting already now, you're going to be about 3 or 4 laps shy from making it. That means you're going to have to be in extreme fuel-saving mode while other drivers that continue to stay out, they're risking to try to save enough fuel to possibly make it to lap 60, 61. And the one driver that I see that can make it that far is John Odenbacher. And it's looking pretty good for that 89 team. He's just being patient because at the end of all these pit stop rounds, it should be the 89 that's in front of everyone else.
Lap 57 of 90. John Odenbacher on board with him, currently in 8th.
Eighth place and really doesn't have anyone around him as we're right on board with John and getting a sense of how these drivers can attack each and every corner as you let off right at the light of where you can see when it's green or under yellow. It kind of just lets the truck drift until halfway, then gets back to the throttle and does a very similar motion through that of turn 2. And each and every lap it changes on how you want to attack these corners. How much do you want to let the truck drift? And that's the key here at Indianapolis Oval, is how do you keep your momentum while also trying to stay as low as possible to carry your speed.
Green flag pit stops on going into shuffling up the field as they're all cycling around. Dennis Moore, he's going to have to pit, obviously. Tyler King.
Whoa.
Something amiss on Devin
Dennis.
West's truck. Devin West's in trouble.
Oh. Everyone's having issues now. And that engine is gone.
Something amiss on the 5. He is up in smoke as his engine virtually hand grenades down the back straightaway.
It's going to be Smith and oh
him
boy.
and Kevin Smith got together.
Oh, and it ain't over.
Oh, Kevin Smith gave him another bam. Was that intentional?
That was
I know
just
the
a
first one wasn't, but the
miscommunication.
second one, yeah. Wow.
I mean, when you make that initial contact and hard into the wall, there's points where the steering wheel can be affected and you are not pointing straight. The toe could be knocked off. And could have been, as we're riding on board, getting a sense of what happened with that of Devin West and Kevin Smith as we're on board with the double zero. Going down the front stretch, everything seemed fine, but we've seen these drivers be close, side by side, try to get as close as possible to the side draft. It looks like it might have been just a misjudgment of where the other driver was.
Into the rumble strips, into the wall. And then we're watching what happened with Kevin Smith. And then we're back to live here. Kevin Smith damaged, battered, banged, bruised. Still going around the racetrack. Here comes Stephen O'Hare in 4th. He'll pit. Tyler King, he'll pit. Stab now and Newton to the lead in 1 and 2, but they're going to have to pit. And guess what? It'll cycle back around to DWJ, back to the lead.
Yeah, right now, we're also Dennis Moore has pitted. So right now, it's looking good for that of Dan West Jr. pulling away and running as hard as he is in 3rd position as you're seeing everyone else coming to pit road. Everyone pulling it in. There's Frank Harris, Ryan Bloom, all getting service done. Stephen O'Hare is going to be taken off. And there's Ryan Gamble already getting service for himself. We're at lap 60 for these drivers. So everyone that's going to be coming in this time by should be good. That's going to be that of Jeff Stabnow, Paul Newton. They're looking solid to make it to the end. As here comes Stabnow. Oh, no.
Whoa, Stabnow. Hold on, Newton. Hold on. And they save it. No problems. Holy cow.
A little bit of deja vu from Monday night when Ken Anderson did the same exact thing of came in, locked up the brakes, car shuffled out from under him, but a great save by Jeff Stabnow. And that must have been a scary moment for Paul Newton as well because he had nowhere to go.
understanding John Odenbacher going on 30 laps on a green flag fuel run. Obviously, that tank has got to be running out. He has got to be coming down pit lane.
He is so slow. He's just crawling now to get to pit road.
He might have been coasting.
And the fact that he was passed by Dan West Jr., Dennis Moore, and Sean Bridesman before coming into pit road, this is looking good for the 55, 44, and the 40. Well, at least for the top two. Sean Bridesman, though, he pitted back on lap 47, and that was 10 laps sooner than everyone else. That's going to be extremely close to making it to the end. Dan West Jr. pitted on lap 55. That's, again, another driver that I don't think can make it to the end of this race. Dennis Moore is going to be extremely close. I think Tyler King and Stephen O'Hare might be the best-looking drivers currently besides Jeff Stabnow. That's back in 7th, based on the timing that they came into pit road.
Dan West Jr. is the leader. Dennis Moore in 2nd. Bridesman 3rd. King 4th. O'Hare in 5th. Stabnow, when he pitted along with Newton, they fell all the way back to 7th and 8th. There's the 24 right there. Samuel, and we're thinking they got to pit again. They've got to pit again.
I think for Stabnow and Paul Newton, they might be able to save enough fuel. But at the same time, Jeff Stabnow was in the draft for about half or more of that last stint that we were just running. So for that of Jeff Stabnow, he might be in a questionable spot of making it that far. Paul Newton's going to be in the draft of the 24, so he'll have a better shot. But those are the two that are looking the best. Stephen O'Hare and Tyler King, though, they've got quite a bit of a gap between themselves. But those are also two drivers that can try to utilize the draft to try to save fuel. But Dan West Jr. is now going to figure out how to save over 5, possibly 6 laps of fuel if he wants to somehow get at least a decent finish without having to come back into pit road. And for Sean Bridesman, he's got to figure out how to save over 13 laps of fuel for that 46 team. It's almost looking impossible for both those drivers. But at the same time, we've seen impossible happen before in other races. It's not completely out of the realm, but it's looking like the drivers of Tyler King, Stephen O'Hare, those are the drivers that are looking good just based on the map of fuel windows that they can go.
We're going to go to a side-by-side. Didn't you say lap 65? I'm sorry, 25? I'm sorry. Never mind. Okay. Okay, my bad. 20 to go. We're gonna go to commercial at 20 to go. I was off by 5 laps, dang it, okay? I was trying to follow the rules. Stephen O'Hare in the 5th position. There he is right now. And you notice all the trucks that are in the playoffs, I think it looks really cool, Samuel. We see it on the Cup cars as well on Monday. They got it on the spoiler. They're like a teal, yellow, green, and on the top of the visor, it says playoffs. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. But we can. We're talking about playoffs because they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs. They're hunting for that championship. But, yeah, they're on the banner and the spoilers. It's really easy. That is such a defined color that you can be like, oh, yeah, no, that's a playoff driver because you don't see that many drivers rocking that color scheme. As you get to see Robert Gamble trying to hold off that of Frank Harris. Harris keeping it close. This is our closest battle on track for 10th place. As that of Robert Gamble right now ahead of 2 playoff contenders, that of Devin West as well as Ryan Bloom. We saw West in that of Kevin Smith making contact with one another, hurting the 5. And luckily for Devin West, he was 3rd in points, having himself over 11 points advantage coming into this race. So It's just going to close things up. What should still be above the cut line is that 5 machine as we continue to watch that of Harris, Bloom, as they're catching up to the 26 of Ray.
Inside, there goes Gamble. That's going on inside the top 10. Gamble and Harris. Frank Harris, Samuel, got a good run going for him tonight in the 11 truck. He's in 11th.
Yeah, Frank Harris, biggest mover of the night, up 12. 12 positions from where he started. Started back in 23rd position.
Yeah.
Last truck to start this race, and now trying to crack the top 10. And one of those drivers that's at right around the cut line of being able to make it on fuel. So it is going to be a tall task as they're catching up to that of Kevin Smith. Smith pitted back on lap 48. Got to be thinking about pit stops here soon for that 00 team, who seems to just be struggling as the night rolls on. Oh, this is frustrating as a leader when you are coming up to drivers on the tail end of the lead lap and they're side by side. Dennis Moore trying to pick and choose which lane is going to make the move forward. Going to pick that of Robert Gamble as Dan West Jr. into pit road. Kevin Smith as well coming into pit road, and you had a sense he was going to have to try to figure out a safe 6 laps of fuel. Dan West Jr. felt like he wasn't going to be able to. So coming in around 20 laps to go, now doesn't have to worry about fuel, doesn't have to worry about tires, can just push it to the end of this race. It's the 55 and the 00 both coming in to get service done. As we're getting close to 20 laps to go, Wesley, it's now a question of, did they save enough for the 44 of Dennis Moore, Tyler King, Stephen O'Hare, Beaver State Racing? They're going to be the top runners. Yes, Sean Bridesman's in second, but he pitted back on lap 47. He's got to be coming into pit road almost at any point here in the next 5 to 8 laps.
Yeah, we got to keep an eye on that here as they work their way with green flag pit stops. Obviously, we know now that Dan West Jr. can go to the end on the money stop.
And you see on the ticker board coming into the pits, Sean Bridesman not able to go any further as the 46. And now it's a 1-2-3 Beaver State Racing. And you know, I always think back to other fuel saving and strategy type races. I mean, think back to Pocono. That's a strategy race where we saw Beaver State trying anything and everything for the Cup race at Pocono as well as the truck race. And that's where Stephen O'Hare got his first win, was at Pocono back at week number 15 of the season. And now you find all 3 Beaver State drivers in the top 3, and and all 3 of them looking good to stretch it to the end.
We have been caution-free, believe it or not, for 70 laps. What will it be like for the final 20? We're going to go side by side so you do not miss the lap of the action presented by Tom Denschel Automotive Group. And Samuel and I will take you to the checkered flag and the finish with the Brickyard 225 when we return on those watching LSRTV and those that are listening on CRN, the Community Radio Network. Back from Indy to the checkered flag in a moment.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland, the face with the voice of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League that you hear simulcasted on the Community Radio Network. And that's what we want to tell you about. We are excited to continue the partnership of covering esports on CRN, just like we do with all the other broadcasts that I cover in real life, like MAV TV, Short Track America, Speed 51 TV, Fox Sports Radio for college, high school sports. The Community Radio Network does the same thing. In addition to broadcasting real athletics, we're excited to be the radio voice of LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, the American iRacing League, and special events along the way. It's very simple. On your web browser, laptop, tablet, or cell phone, go to wearecrn.com, click on play, and you are able to keep up with the action. It's very simple. The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Check us out when you can. Esports coverage from LSRTV on CRN, the community radio network, wearecrn.com.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
18 laps to go. You didn't miss anything as we were side by side, presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group. I am Wesley Outland. That ugly mug you saw on commercial just a moment ago. God, I'm surprised I didn't break the camera. Thousands of dollars in damage. Samuel Dyer is alongside. He's uglier than I am. He's got the top collar on his beard. And we welcome you to coverage. I'm playing, Samuel. I'm only playing.
Hey, I like my beard, and we're going to leave it alone, okay? It looks fabulous. I enjoy it. And I've got the top button on, yes, because I try to look professional for this.
I'm choking laughing at that comment. That's exactly, what would happen to me if I had on a... Now, shirt and tie. Yeah, shirt and tie. I would definitely wear a top collar, but come on. Shirt and tie on all broadcasts from now on. I just got the memo from our producer. We'll be in shirts and ties on Friday night. Let's at least wait till Monday. Monday. Because, hey, Toby Ritters is on the pit lane.
One of those drivers
Toby
we knew
Ritters
could
in
not
the pit.
make it.
Yes. Samuel, do you think everybody can race to the finish now, you think?
I mean, there's still a lot of question marks out there, such as Dennis Moore, who's leading this race. He's got a massive lead over his teammates. This 44, I think the biggest thing for Dennis Moore is either just back off and no, he can't make it, have to come into pit road, even with his large lead that he had. Not going to try anyway to try to save fuel. Feels like he needs to come in. Oh, boy.
King, is he going to have to pit? Is Stab now going to have to pit?
Oh,
That's the question.
Oh, this is what I love about fuel strategy races is it all comes down to the end. Did your math line up? Did you do a good enough job as a driver to save enough fuel? As you saw Tyler King make the pass for the lead. Stephen O'Hare now up to second. It's going to be that of Jeff Stabnow in third. Jeff Stabnow, who is trying to win the Indy 200 3 times in a row. He has won it the last 2 times in the trucks, and he's trying to get it done once again.
Jeff Stabnow, understanding Jeff Stabnow has possibly a lap or more on the field when it comes to fuel. Wow. Understanding he has a lap and a half, possibly more than the trucks in front of him. Samuel, this might be a strategy for fuel, what we thought we were going to see Monday, and it could be in favor of Jeff Stabnow. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where Jeff Stabnow, we threw it out. We both put the lock on this. Just looking at the trends, you thought maybe this was going to be the race that Jeff Stabnow could finally mark that he's got to win this season. Yeah, but he's got to hold on. We've seen a couple of times getting through turns 1 and 3. That back end getting out of shape. But right now in the best place. He's on the back bumper of that of Devin West. West, one of the drivers that's going to be questionable if he can make it to the end. We already saw a driver that was on similar strategy, that of Dennis Moore, have to come into pit road. But for that of West, he's kind of being the best, ally for Jeff Stabnow. Being a driver the 24 can draft, save more fuel, and feel comfortable and confident that he can make it to the end. The other drivers that Jeff Stabnow has to worry about, Paul Newton, who's about 2 seconds back, the 81, similar strategy, might be able to, if he starts pushing this truck, which he's been doing these last couple of laps and running a couple of tenths faster than Jeff Stabnow. He is on the similar strategy, might be able to make it. Then you fall back to 5th, where you find that of Dan West Jr., but Dan West Jr. only went with fuel, it looked like, for his pit stop and 2 tires, while Dennis Moore, who's catching up to Dan West Jr., went with 4 tires and fuel. The 44 put it all on the line and now has to figure out if he can run down and try to catch up to the drivers that are up front, but it is a very large wall that the 44's got to climb. That is 12 laps to go here at Indy, and now making the pass for 5th place.
Running him down. Dennis Moore with a strong truck, trying to get around Dan West Jr. for 5th position. By the way, he is 18 seconds back to the leader, Tyler King. We are thinking Tyler King and Stephen O'Hare are going to have to pit. Tyler King has a 13-second lead, and it is dwindling on Stephen O'Hare. So that shows you right there, Samuel, that Tyler King is trying to conserve fuel. He's slowing down.
Well, it was
Jeff
dwindling for a second there.
It was, just for a second. It's hashtag fake news. He's back up on the speed again, back to the whip. I thought maybe he was going to back away. Dennis Moore has all this lap traffic and more in front of him. Plus, he's got to get around Stabnow and O'Hare to get King, and I just don't see it happening.
Well,
but there's
Stabnow.
There's Stabnow right there.
Stabnow. And O'Hare's not that far away from Stabnow. In just 2 laps, Dennis Moore is caught up for almost 4 seconds on Jeff Stabnow, and it's just flying through everyone else. That's the power of 4 tires. And what's scarier is that Dennis Moore is just going to get faster and faster each and every lap because he's got a long run setup. So by the end of this thing, the 44 is going to be screaming quick and trying to catch up to that of Stephen O'Hare and others. I mean, this is a shot,
and
Wesley, in the truck series.
And we're thinking, Samuel, King and O'Hare are going to have to pit. They can't go to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, right now, for sure making it, Dennis Moore is to the good. For that of Dennis Moore, he's now trying to catch up to both of his teammates. And Wesley, we're looking at possibility in the truck series in the first 2 races of the round of 12. 2 drivers that have been putting all the work in the ARCA series, they have a shot to win both Indy races.
They would have to complete at least 31 laps. They're coming to the line with 10 laps to go. 9 to go when he crosses the start-finish line. He'd have to run at least 30-plus laps on fuel. And, Samuel, I just don't know if they can do that. I really don't. And they're not conserving. They're not slowing down.
I mean, looking at Stephen O'Hare, he's slowing down, trying to back it down, trying to just conserve whatever he can. Tyler King is on all go, and that's working out currently. But right now, for Dennis Moore, he's running about 1.5 seconds faster than the 21 currently. And we're just going to see that gap. It's from our leaders. I mean, it is going to dwindle very quickly here. But the question is, will Dennis Moore have enough to catch up to Tyler King at the end of this thing? It's less than 14 seconds now. The question is, will it be one of those things where Dennis Moore could be just about 2 seconds shy from making the pass for the lead. As you find Jeff Stabnow running in fourth, trying to catch up. O'Hare in third. It is a giant question mark on where these drivers are going to lie. Another driver to watch out for as you're seeing the 129 coming out of the pit road. It looks like Lumberg is going to be getting himself, actually he's going into pit road, going to be extremely slow for the 129, who stayed out as long as possible for himself, pitted last back at lap 55. So win as far as could go now has to come into pit road. But another driver to watch out for that's going to have a lot of speed trying to cut through this field. That's going to be Sean Bridesman, who's in seventh. His goal, I mean, a little bit too far back to gain too much time, but if he can catch up somehow to Dan West Jr., the 46 could gain another extra 2 to 3 positions for himself.
From Sim Racer Hub, formerly known as Dan Lisa, the stats on the Northwest iRacing Series for trucks. Dennis Moore, 1 win on the series. He won back on July 21st. He won the Nashville Super Speedway event. He actually started on the pole, and he went on to win the race in fine fashion. That's his only win, with now a 9-second lead. And right now, with his 17 starts, 18 tonight, looking for his second career win, which would be also his 6th top 5 and his 12th top 10, if he pulls it off. And Dennis Moore has moved to second. O'Hare falling all the way back. He is running down Tyler King. King, is he going to pit, or is he going to get passed by Dennis Moore? Down the front straightaway. Down the stretch they come. 6, now make it 5 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line. Next time by. And Tyler King, boy, oh boy, that lead, Samuel, is dwindling. Dennis Moore is on a mission.
Yeah, it might be 2 laps to go in this race. By the time that Dennis Moore catches up, it could be sooner than that. As Dennis Moore, the last 2 laps, past almost 3 laps, has been running about almost a little bit under 2 seconds faster, or even more than 2 seconds faster than Tyler King. Dennis Moore's on full send, while Tyler King, he has to run quick 1 lap, then save fuel the next. He has to flip-flop to make sure he can make it to the end of this race, as he has to save for an extra 1 lap. 2.5 miles you have to save fuel. That is still a very long time you got to save. And Tyler King, by him trying to stay out and beat out his teammate, could be hurting himself from having a great finish here today.
5 laps to go. Dennis Moore now 6.5 and quicker. He is closing in on your leader. Remember, the drivers in green, we'll show you the legend one more time on the bottom of the screen. The drivers in green have advanced into the round of 8 here in the round of 12 race 2. Meaning, Kevin Smith, no matter what happened tonight, Iowa next week, Atlanta in 2 weeks, he goes to the next round in the championship quest for the round of 8. Drivers in blue are currently the fast 8 in the playoffs. They're in the 8 spots. Drivers that are outside the top 8 but are still in the top 12 are in red. Those in black are non-contenders, just looking for race wins. And that's a true factor, Samuel, as we come to 4 laps to go. We've seen a race already this year where a non-playoff contender went on to win. Not racing for a championship, just looking for the dub, and he pulled it off.
Yeah, it's a factor that can always be thrown out there when you're in that position of a must-win, kind of like Caden Anderson, and whenever we see Stephen Paulson come back, going to also be in a must-win scenario where you're looking and you're hoping to get a win, and then a non-playoff driver wins and you're in second, just hoping and wishing you would have gained another position there, but it just doesn't happen. As you're seeing on board, we're watching the battle for 5th place. It's Jeff Stabnow trying to get by that of Dan West Jr., but Jr. has done everything in his power, make the pass, and now try to gain, if anything, maybe another position on Stephen O'Hare that's trying to back off. But the battle for the lead, it is less than 4 seconds with 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go. Remember, the race on Monday night was 80 laps, 200 miles. This race is 90 laps, 225 miles. Dock on another 25 miles to the race. And well, that goes on. Watching these drivers working their way around the racetrack. Two to go. Tyler King, Samuel. Tyler King, he's leading. Moore's coming though. 2.20. There he is. Next truck to beat is the 44 after the 21. They're on the west end of the speedway into turn number 3.
I mean, right now for Tyler King, he's banking on just hoping he's got enough fuel at this point. Based on the gap and how much time's been gained by Dennis Moore, he's got to hope that he can latch onto the draft soon enough, but we're coming to the white flag here, Wesley.
The CRN 1 to go. More details at wearecrn.com. iRacing, volleyball, soccer, football, tomorrow night and Friday. And we're proud to be the voice of live sim racing. More details at wearecrn.com. Final time around, east end of the speedway, turn number 1 and 2. Tyler King trying to get all the drafting he can off the tailgate of Ryan Bloom in 25. Dennis Moore, he's running out of time. Halfway to go into the west end of turn number 3.
He was gaining time, but Tyler King got the draft, and now he's pulling away. I don't think Dennis Moore can catch him.
Tyler King staying under the back of the machine of Ryan Bloom. He'll now set sail and clear him on the bottom. Dennis Moore closes it into half a second. Bloom in the way. He gets out of the way. Moore up high. Can't get there. Fuel strategy works, and Tyler King's a winner of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. He wins the Brickyard 225. Dan West Jr. off the pace. He will cross the line. Third, Dennis Moore second, Dan West Jr. third, and Tyler King is also going to the round of 8. O'Hare out of fuel. That's the one we were watching. O'Hare out of fuel in 41.
O'Hare able to get 6th place.
Beats the fuel strategy and wins.
Oh my goodness. It was the whole entire back stretch.
Wow.
It was looking like Dennis Moore was gaining. When they came out of turn 2, it was a second. But on the back stretch, Tyler King's was able to get, yeah, he only had another half a lap left. But when they got onto the back stretch, because Ryan Bloom was there.
Wow.
Yeah, on the back stretch, Tyler King, he was being gained. He was only had a second gap over that of Dennis Moore, but because he had the draft of Ryan Bloom, able to actually extend the lead by that of, instead of 1 second, up to almost a second and a half. And then when they came down to the front stretch, there was no more draft help, and it came down to a half a second.
Look at Dan West Jr., former champion. Look at the little nudge there, giving him the assist, giving a little hit. Paul Newton giving a little nudge there. Hey, by the way, Samuel, this is his first career Northwest iRacing Series win on Cup and Truck. He is going to celebrate it until the midnight hour and then some. And they're going to tear him up from the floor up without any fuel.
I mean, just think of this season. The amount of times that we've seen Tyler King in the top 3, finishing second, just always coming up just a no short at times. But he can finally say he's a winner.
Ritters. No chance for a burnout, no chance of smoking the tires, but dang it all, he did want to be a part of the Northwest High Five Salute, his first career win, and even though he has no fuel and ran out, the engine is off, they are still going to shake, rattle, and roll The Pills Oranges, number 21. Here they come. They're all going to be coming at him at full speed. Aerial coverage brought to you by All-American Pools. Watch this guy. Is this Kevin Smith? Kevin Smith knows what it's like to win on the Northwest Series. He won last Friday night, or last Wednesday night. Watch this. Kevin Smith coming after the 21. Tyler King, look out.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, wow. I believe I can fly.
They
Oh,
saved
my
the best
goodness.
for last.
Wow. And if you are new to our coverage, we simply call that the Northwest High Five Salute. Unofficial results presented by sawblade.com. There they are. Tyler King, Dennis Moore, cut it to almost half a second. Just ran out of time. Dennis Moore second. Dan West Jr. finishing in third. Jeff Stabnow, our pick, all of our picks, fourth. Paul Newton fifth. Stephen O'Hare running out of fuel. He'll finish in sixth at a coasting across the finish line. Sean Bridesman, seventh. John Odenbacher, eighth. Robert Gamble, Caden Anderson, a quiet night, Samuel, in the top 10. And by the way, this race went caution flag, caution free.
Yeah, flag to flag, no yellow was needed. As in 11th, we find that of Frank Harris, as well as Ryan Bloom going to be in 12th. Devin West, after making contact with that of Kevin Smith, able to rebound to get a 13th place finish. 14th going to go to Toby Ritters, with Kevin Smith finishing in 15th. Aaron Cooper, Judd Wakefield, Russ Lumberg, as well as Ray Fournier, as well as Breyer DB going to be finishing out 20th. And wow, what a race this was, Wesley.
Bryce Beatty there, as you mentioned. Cole Raz, Troy Daggett, Scott Hutchinson on the track. Tough break there for James Thurston and Carl Burke, Big Daddy, unable to take the green flag. We wrap it up from Indy. Get ready for Iowa. What a fun race it was for the Northwest Truck Series and another first-time winner. I always said it. You always remember your first kiss, your first girlfriend, or if you're a woman, your first boyfriend, your first car, your first day of school, your first day of graduation, your first job, your first marriage, your first divorce, if it comes to that, your first child, and your first virtual iRacing win, especially with the awesome family of the Northwest Truck Series. We wrap it up and talk to Tyler King. He is the true racetrack king tonight at the Brickyard. We'll grab a word with him on everyone else on the podium in a moment. Welcome back to coverage. Yeah, what a race for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series when it's all said and done. Another first-time winner. The racetrack king here reigns supreme on the Brickyard tonight. Tyler King, first man across the yard of bricks. We'll grab a word with him in just a moment. Of course, Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. We're going to grab a word now with our top three finishers. And first up, Dan West Jr. Dan, the champion of last year for the series, and the races battle, the playoffs continue. Dan, your take of finishing on the podium here tonight, a pretty interesting caution-free race at the Brickyard. It was no yellow flags, obviously, but it had its moments of excitement, would you say?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think out of the gate, we all kind of were playing with tire management a little bit, kind of see what the trucks would do on a little bit of a long run. And you kind of, I don't know, I wasn't expecting, go green, white checkers. And so I was kind of waiting for a yellow and nothing ever happened. Next thing I know, I see those Beaver boys coming. And so you start planning ahead, right? You start planning a fuel strategy. You start planning, when you make your pit stop, what adjustments you're going to make. And I threw everything at the truck, and I didn't have anything for Dennis or Tyler or them guys, especially Dennis. Dennis was really fast. I really picked him as being the winner, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, you were expecting it to have a caution at some point. Did you feel like if it did have a short run where you were up there and it was about 10 laps to go, did you feel like you had a shot to win this race?
Definitely, yeah, Samuel. I really thought I had a chance if we had a short run. I had a really good short run truck. I even freed it up, tried to back the corners up, but it just still wasn't enough. It just started losing the right front, and that's when Dennis could reel me in pretty quick and easy. So it just was a weird race. I mean, it was a long race. I mean, I felt like we were, when you run green white checker like that, it's a long race. So you get to where you're like, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to make that last leg. So I tried to short pit it, and then I tried to take two, and the truck did not like two tires at all. So feel fortunate to be in the top three.
Well, obviously it's playoff racing, but Dan, in closing, thank your sponsors. And man, what can you say about Tyler King? Another first-time winner on the Northwest iRacing Series. I know you remember your first win. You're one of the greats on the series. What do you got to say to the driver number 21? Somebody you've beat fenders with cars and trucks for about a year and a half now, and finally he breaks through.
I got a lot of respect for Tyler. He's a great guy, works hard behind the scenes, does all these posters for us, but he also works hard on the track. I mean, these Beaver State boys have done their homework, right? I mean, you can see it, and you're proud to see him win. I mean, it's I mean, when you're finished second and third to these guys that work so hard and they're fast in these long runs. So congratulations, Tyler. I mean, that's pretty awesome, buddy. I'm happy for you. Go to bed happy tonight, wake up happy tomorrow, and enjoy it.
And that's Dan West Jr. Go ahead, bud, before I let you go.
Hey,
Thank your
sorry.
sponsors.
LSRTV, you guys are the best. Samuel, um, you said something about I think that I was your pick, and sorry, man, if I was, I tried.
No. He tried to become your pick at halfway at the mid-race report, but you can't
okay.
change your picks. You can't go to Vegas and change your odds. No. We were all riding and dying with Jeff Stabnow, and that just didn't happen.
Effective Web Solutions. I appreciate all they've ever done for our racing, and I'd like to thank Team LSRTV, Jeff, Sean, Devin, and John. We worked hard. We just didn't have enough. Thanks, guys.
That is Dan West Jr., ladies and gentlemen, from Shelton, Washington. He will finish in the number 3 position. Second spot, runner-up, Dennis Moore. Dennis, did you think that Tyler was going to run out of fuel? Man, you was the truck to beat. Your take of the race, and you're happy with second.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited for Tyler. I'm glad he got his first win. We've been fast all year, worked hard on our setups. I thought I was going to catch him, and I probably would have, but I screwed up out of turn 2 on the last lap there. But the race was, like Dan said, it was a really long race. Super fast on a long run. They probably would have had us. It was a 10-lap shootout, but really excited to have Beaver State first and second, and glad to see Tyler get a win.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis, we saw you just climbing through, and we thought maybe we're going to be there with 2 laps to go, maybe on the white flag, maybe the final corner. At what point did you feel like I've got a legitimate shot to catch up to Tyler if you didn't make that mistake?
Probably with about 5 to go. I think we were about 8 seconds. I was 8 seconds back. I knew I was about a second and a half, almost 2 seconds faster than him every lap. So, I didn't know he had a drafting partner. That probably helped him a little bit on the straightaways. I was gaining all my time through the corner. So, but I thought I had a shot until the last lap, turn 2.
Dennis, obviously, man, you've got to win on the series. You won when you just totally dominated the Nashville Super Speedway back in the summer of July. Here we are, beginning of fall. What can you say about Tyler King picking up the win? And, of course, I know you did everything you could to try to run him down, just simply ran out of time. And you looked at it. He literally got to the short chute in turn 2 when he ran out of fuel. If this would have been another lap, do you think he would have been the winner?
You never know. I mean, I might have pushed it too hard on the last lap. If there was another lap, Tyler would have ran out of fuel. So I probably would have won. But I'm really happy for Tyler. Those guys, Stefan and Tyler, let me join their team about a year and a half ago, and it's been a lot of fun racing with those guys. We work hard on the setups, and it's paid off this year with all 4 Beaver State guys getting in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I was going to say, mad respect to both of you guys, all 3 of you guys as well. I know Stephen O'Hare ran out of fuel. He was in the top 5, in the top 3, but he still salvaged the top 10 finish in 6 for sure. So, Dennis, your thoughts on the Iowa next week, and thank your sponsors as always, bud.
Yeah, Iowa's usually a good track for me. I haven't started working on the setup yet, but we'll get to work probably tomorrow night or Saturday. We'll see what happens. And I think we'll be fast on the long run for sure. We'll see if we have anything for them on the short run. That track's kind of difficult. It could be a short track or it could be a speedway, just the way it's set up. But I got to thank the Beaver State guys, Nicole, Brian, Photography, LSRTV, Northwest Racing Series, and Tom Denschel Auto Group.
Always a fun time, and of course, that is the driver, Dennis Moore, the 44, picking up the number 2 position. Victory lane we go. First career winner, and the driver, the number 21 Pills Oranges machine. Oh, man, Tyler King, congratulations, bud. I know this has been a long time coming. You finally are a breakthrough winner on the Northwest iRacing Series, winning in the trucks.
Yeah, buddy, it's great to get that monkey off our back. We've been fighting super hard the last almost 2 years, trying to get a win. We've been super close, and last like Dennis said earlier, he joined our team. I think it was last June after the Texas race when we got spanked by the West family, and he's like, let's team up and beat these guys. And he has been putting in the work, especially over the last 5 months. Heading into the summer, it shows in my results. It shows in Stefan and Dennis's results that we have fast trucks, and Dennis has got us in the right direction, and I think we're trending upward.
Yeah, no, that is what we have been seeing all season for the second half of the season, of you guys as a team just trending upward. And when it comes to these fuel strategy races, I mean, I think back to Pocono and then also here today, it's always you guys trying different strategies to be upfront fuel saving. Was this the plan all the way through? Was to try to go out as far as you can go to have, stretch the fuel out? Or was there ever a thought to do what Dennis was doing for yourself, Tyler?
Well, yes and no. Uh, the goal is to run fuel out as far as we can, unless there's yellow flag, obviously. And we were running, like about 29 laps, and we're okay, maybe 30. And I kind of lost on like their tracker and stuff like that. But it was my plan was to pit with 5 or so laps to go and just get enough fuel to get to the finish, which had been a splash. And then when we seen Sean and Dan peel off with like 15 or so or 18 or so to go, got us thinking. It's like, oh, do we pit for tires? Like, what are they doing? And then Dennis, we decided for him to pit on pretty short notice because we weren't sure what Dan was doing. He was gaining pretty quickly on us, so it's like, well, you get in now, you get your tires, you can get out there and get by him before the end of the race. And at that same time, I happened to look over at my fuel mileage, and it said I had 15 laps to go, and I crossed the yard of bricks with 15 laps to go. So at that point, it was fuel conservation mode for me.
Tyler, final question. You can thank sponsors as well. What does it mean to finally win? Man, we've had you on several times, and there's been some good times, some bad times, some frustration. Used to be one that you couldn't get out of your own way. You had your own problems, handling issues, not having the right setup, getting tires busted in the wall. Things have really improved this year for sure. What does it mean to finally be on the cusp of finally getting a win here tonight?
It's great. Hopefully we're just breaking the seal at this point. I was telling everybody at the end of the race when they're congratulating me, it's like, this is the first time I've won a league race since probably 2007.
Wow.
Back in NASCAR race in 2003 in the Escort series, which was one like the pinnacle sim racing leagues at the time. Like a bunch of dudes made it onto Drivers World Championship series in iRacing in the next 5 years. And to be in this league and have to race and work as hard as you have to win. To beat Dan West, to beat Sean or Caden, it's absolutely insane to me, like how difficult it is. So this is a very, very big win, and probably I'm gonna say right there near the top all time for me.
All right, buddy. Thank your sponsors. Get you out of here.
Yeah, for sure. Glad to finally get that win for Peel's California Mandarins. Hopefully we can get them back on board with us next year. American Touch Up. Nicole Bryan, photography, Paul Newton Designs, everybody at LSRTV, everybody in the Northwest Racing League for everything they do for us. Tom Denchelato, Kevin Smith, everybody that runs the ARCA leagues, James and Robert. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
Tyler King, part of the Beaver State Racing clan, finally breaks through into victory lane to become tonight a first-time winner. Of course, of our broadcast position here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What a race, what an event. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will wrap it up with Samuel and I from Indianapolis. Stay tuned.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
And, of course, thank you to Kevin Smith, Tom Denchel Automotive Group for all that they do, sponsoring the Northwest Cup and Truck Series in the playoffs. It's not done yet. Round number 2 down, Sammy D. It's on to round 3. It's on to Iowa. I have to say, I'm glad we're putting Indy in the rearview mirror. I'm tired of looking at this place the last 6 iRacing broadcasts I've done. But they've been fun. They've been interesting. They've been different along the way. You got to enjoy first-time winners. We saw that in Kevin Smith last Thursday night on the road course here, and tonight we saw the same thing for Tyler King.
Yeah, I guess now we got to relook at the way that we make picks for Wednesday nights. Look at the drivers that haven't won yet in either the Cup or the Trucks, and maybe one of those guys is going to win at Iowa. I cannot wait for these next 2 races, Iowa and Atlanta. 2 tracks where it's going to be a handful for all the drivers, and it's going to be a fun one. But, man, tonight, Tyler King, a whole entire Beaver State racing team as a whole, what a race they all had. I know Stephen O'Hare was looking for a top 5 finish, finishing in 6th because he ran out of fuel, but he was so close to doing exactly what Tyler King did, of finishing up and having all of them almost finish 1, 2, 3.
Samuel, I'm going to do this for you, buddy. Only for you, okay, buddy? This is only for you, okay? Just for you. Nobody else. Only for you. See, I'm already choking myself. Hey, no, but listen, what about guys like, of course, Dennis Moore? So close. Fuel mileage strategy came down to the wire. And you look at Stephen O'Hare. They were right there in the cusp of each other. Man, anybody could have won this race. And I literally said that. If we would have had another lap more than 90, we wouldn't have seen Tyler King make it back. He ran out of fuel going off the short chute on the east end of the speedway in turn 2. And I believe Dennis Moore was ready, strategy-wise, playing his cards right, doing everything you needed to do, hands down, give the win to 44. But Samuel, that's the reason why they race, real or virtual. And honestly, Tyler King took a gamble, played his cards right. He wanted that first career win on the Northwest Series, and he made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was a team effort, right? They threw it out. Hey, Dennis, you try this strategy out, and we'll continue with what we've been doing, and it would have worked out either way. But, you know, you say the what ifs. What if there was an extra lap? I mean, what if we only raced 80 laps? If we just did that, Dennis Moore was going to win this race in that fashion. But all the what ifs, we can keep them up in the air, but we know for sure, written in stone, Tyler King getting the win here tonight at Indy.
And now we go to a racetrack next. Well, actually, beginning Friday night. Samuel and myself, we go to a racetrack that is virtually like a super speedway, but it's a short it's a short track. It's the, of course, 7/8 mile Iowa Speedway in the cornfields of Iowa. You have the ingredients for a super speedway race like Daytona, Talladega, Indy, Pocono, what have you, big tracks, but you drive it like a short track. What do you think we're going to see here beginning on Friday night for ARCA Cup and Truck? Next Monday and Wednesday should be a good one. And then it's crunch time for many because we're only taking 8. 4 are going to be eliminated from the round of 12, and that'll be decided in 2 weeks at Atlanta, bud.
Yeah, I'm excited for Iowa. Iowa short track racing. We're going to be seeing multi-groove racing, which that's the thing that I'm most excited about. We're going to be seeing drivers finding that outside lane, finding a little bit more speed. Some are going to be finding the consistency on the low side for those long runs. And I'm excited for next Wednesday when we get to see what the Beaver State drivers have. Are they going to have the short run set up, expecting there to be a lot of cautions? Or will they continue with the ways of sticking with the long run just in case we do exactly what we did tonight, which is going green to white with no yellow flags thrown?
Great coverage always throughout the night. Enjoy working with you. Have a couple of days off, Samuel. We'll see you Friday night. Of course, that's after football coverage on the Community Radio Network. Remember, we have iRacing on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing, CRN, Monday night, Wednesday night, the Northwest Series. And then, of course, on Friday, the ARCA Northwest playoffs. That's going to be at Iowa Speedway. And remember, Community Radio Network will be back on Monday and Wednesday for the Cup and Trucks at Iowa. We got to work something out, Jeff and I, so hopefully we can try to broadcast the Northwest ARCA Series, maybe the last couple of races, the last round of races in the championship for the ARCA Northwest, because I enjoy those guys. And, of course, Samuel, in closing as well, the Northwest Cup and Truck guys, and they take advantage of this opportunity. The olive branch was extended to them that you can run with us to get you experience, to get some seat time, to try to get some laps, paid practice, if you will, to get ready for the Northwest Cup and Truck Series. And these drivers have took advantage of that in closing.
Yeah, it is a huge thing to come in and get that extra track time. And we've seen it, I mean, for Dennis Moore, as well as seeing it for that of Kevin Smith. Both of them have done great work with that extra track time. And it's been awesome to see. And I hope to see more drivers from the Cup and the Truck side come Friday night, come race out, get some ARCA, just track experience overall. And it's been a blast to see.
Always fun working with you, Samuel Dyer. One more quick look at the Brickyard at Indianapolis. And I think we have a special. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, you're at the wrong track. What's that? Well, they're at the right track. Our production crew is already live at Iowa Speedway. There you see the sights and sounds of what is next. Great Scott, Back to the Future. They've moved to the past for sure. So there you go. We're done with Indy. We're moving in to Iowa Speedway. There's a look at the 7/8 mile next Friday night, next Monday and Wednesday for the Northwest Cup and Truck Series. As always, on Live Sim Racing, of course, LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. Of course, thanks again to Tom Denchel Automotive Group for all that they do. Samuel, final thoughts, brother. Let's get out of here. We'll see you Friday.
It was nice seeing you for 2 weeks, Indy. It was a blast, but man, I think we're both done for Indy for quite a while.
Even the producers are tired of Indianapolis. They've already set up at Iowa Speedway.
But man, it was a blast seeing all the new winners. I mean, for Kevin Smith and for Tyler King, it's been a blast these last 2 weeks. But it is crunch time. It's for all these drivers that have been struggling or those that are a must win. Iowa could be your best friend, or it could be a place that just makes your hole get dug even deeper.
Oh, and by the way, amongst all of the excitement going on tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and first-time winner Tyler King, he was also one of those drivers in the round of 12. He has punched his ticket along with Kevin Smith into the round of 8, regardless of what happens here, next week, here at Iowa Speedway. And, of course, also at Atlanta. We look forward for you watching or listening as we continue this ride for the championships. Thank you to everybody at Rocket Media and LSRTV for the production. For Samuel Dyer, Greg Rent's not able to be with us. Hopefully he'll be with us on Monday. I am Wesley Outland. We congratulate again your winner, Tyler King. Winner tonight for the first time in the Northwest iRacing Cup and Truck Series. Be good to one another. Keep on praying for America. Thank you for watching, listening, iRacing